As we already said, today is going to be a very important step when it comes to the first step of impact. Impact is a global discussion that is more focused on understanding about the problems that every community is facing. When you talk about impact community, it's more about the relation that a common community is facing today. We have just started by taking the most affected part of the world, regardless whether it's a self-initiated conflict, whether it's more into developing initiatives, whether it's more into the infrastructure limitations. But this forum is going to grow and is going to tackle most important sustainable problems we are facing today in the globe. So what we need is to build resilient, autonomous society that regardless what's happening in the globe, but we will be able to keep going, keep moving. And the main area that is going to focus on our major discussion on the coming 15 minutes, because today the whole discussion was more about enriching the understanding of the same structure. So the model of systems that we are facing them today, you are looking at the limitations of supply chain. We have seen the war that is happening, the maritime blockage. We have seen the aerial manipulation. We have seen the political control. We have seen so many of the things that we have been listening in the formation, in the studies that we have been receiving from the childhood, and today we are witnessing them. We are also witnessing a series of human-generated conflict. We came back and we are living in the law of jungle. Those who are very strong, they are trying to control those who are very weak in all the different areas. And then we see also the disaster that happened with the climate and how all of the global warming is really also affecting. And we have now start witnessing the control over the takeaway or the takeover of AI, and how AI is really shaping the way we do business. In order for us to understand this, we have to go through the root. We have to understand where we are, and what we have, and how all of these are going to evolve. That's why it's very important to understand the concept of consumer community. The consumer community today is driven by a passive model, passive income, passive models of survivor, passive of being affected, passive of being dependent to the fragile global supply, or what is really happening. Many countries today are facing a lot of problems. They don't know, they don't even understand how we can really overcome those problems. And this is affecting even the model of how we are saying every time that AI is coming and AI is going to take over everything. But nobody is really coming to the conclusion that it's going to happen. So what can we do? That's why in the right side, you will see the model where we become more into the challenger, not being challenged. We become the more advanced creator. We become the more ready to innovate, to use the tools. I'm just giving an example. If Albert Einstein, the time he was coming up with the special relativity and the general relativity, if he was having ChatGPT, imagine what he could have done. And this actually, the trigger that everyone should think. That's why, in order for us to address the core problem, we came up with this forum, which is the impact community. It will tackle always the three major pillars. Number one, our really foundation, our really big problem is on the education. Knowledge is no more luxury. You cannot really say that you have knowledge, so you are the master of the world. No. You cannot say that you have power. You cannot say that you have infrastructure. So imagine a country that they say that they have infrastructure, others they say they have knowledge, others they say they have all the wealth of the globe. It's no more the fashion. We saw COVID, and we had seen also the war in Ukraine. We are now seeing the war that is happening. So everything you have is subject to be challenged. So education is no more the luxury. We have to accept the fact knowledge is available. Knowledge is available. Knowledge ecosystems has to be the same way we breathe the oxygen. It's like water. It's like the basic necessity. It's what we are now talking about knowledge. Now, when it's come to the model of moving forward is the model of what we are calling the economy that is going to rely on opportunities. So you have to step up, saying that I can never have enough. I can never have everything. But what should I do? You have to be entrepreneur mindset. You have to adapt quickly. You have to test quickly. You have to move fast quickly. You should never accept a situation. Never. That is the mindset of an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is someone who always break the rules, who always challenge himself and challenge everything around him until he achieves the key objective that is very common. And to use this mindset, you will leverage technology capabilities that are available with you that will give you freedom and autonomy. Because the meaning of technology is not just the tools, the fancy, expensive tools. You will realize that the world is really working on something called open source. Everything we do today, we pay millions and millions. There is always another alternative which is much more affordable and much more cheaper. And that's why exactly to go to this, a student who is in South, who is in the North, who are in the East, in the West, they can collaborate today. You can have the best research happen in Silicon Valley, MIT. They are publishing all the knowledge. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you spending your time? Spending your time of watching and spending your time of exploring, spending your time of understanding what is going. The fact is, what is the result? What is the outcome? And that's exactly how we see education as the foundation number one that we need to tap. We are going to witness a model where a real teacher and an AI tutor are going to collaborate. The teacher will use his cognitive skills to empower students, but correction, but recommendation, understanding all the pattern, it's not going to be the teacher anymore, because AI will be able to do that. It will have the ability, it is having the ability of auto-correction. It has the ability of planning the lesson. It has the ability of structuring and personalizing the education for every student. And that is triggering a key number 3, the languages. People who are thinking if you speak 3-4 languages, you are smart, you are the master of the wood. No, it's gone. Today, you just need to know one language that has already in what we call it the large language model. One language, you know better. Whether it's Arabic, whether it's English, whether it's any language that has been written in the lexical word, it's now become one to many. So one language will give you access to the whole research, the whole knowledge available there. And this will bring us into a new formula that I don't need very heavy, expensive equipment. I just need a smartphone. I can do research. I can really explore the world. I can use my camera, which is very, very smart, to explore the world. And this will give us very, very, very drastic advancements. We will be able to go more further on having everything we do become universal. So your knowledge, your participation, your research, you are now going to impact the globe. You don't need to impact the globe for the place where you live in. No, you can have a knowledge, you have an idea, you share it with everyone, and it will impact others. And that is what we are calling the multiple human bandwidth and access, because it will give us a replica of you. We call it the digital twin, that you are able to serve someone who is available somewhere, you know, you don't know. That is the beauty of how education is now moving. The second pillar is the pillar of borderless entrepreneurship. You are today seeing Temu, Amazon, eBay, they are very, very big organizations. They are selling everywhere. They are serving everyone. But did they know who you are until you decide to shop? They didn't know. They know how to target you. They know how to reach you. They know what are your needs. They know how you can really get something affordable. We call it the anonymized information about you. Anonymized information about you is the way your interests, habits, and expectations are structured and available in a way anyone who has a product will be able to reach you out without you even knowing your name, without even knowing where you are, but it will be received by the fact that your needs are profiled. That's why coming up with these solutions that are going to be designed by ourselves, they are going to really rely on knowledge we got our access globally, and it's going to help us on how to target, how to find our customers, how to reach them. It's going to help us even to export this knowledge. We know that many companies, many organizations, and many countries are relying on the diaspora. Diaspora for the people who are now traveling, leaving their home countries to go on other countries and contribute those countries on the GDP, on the impact of their economy. In return, they got money to send it back home and help their families. Now, that money must be used to build a sustainable model. And this is exactly what we are now talking about, entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship does not mean you need to apply for an investor to get someone who give you money. No. Entrepreneur means you are going to rely on the macro initiative, macro capabilities, the information you have. Whatever is available with you, you are going to use it. You don't need to wait and then, oh, if I have this, I will have that. No, it will never happen. You have to be very fluid, very fast, dynamic, because if you are able to protect that idea locally, you are going to be able to sell globally. And this is giving us into the pillar number 3. Pillar number 3 is the pillar where we have a lot of problems today. We see everything that happened. The gas has an issue. Many countries that they are not participating or getting anything on there, they get affected. And schools are going to get affected because parents cannot bring their children. And you have seen a connection for everything today. So imagine if we are able to build locally, if we are able to sustain locally, if we are able to overtake all of this and go with what we call it the asymmetric model. Asymmetric model is a model where you don't respond to a problem with the equal force of how it's been created. You just see an example of Russia. You just see an example of America. You just see an example of tsunami. You just see an example of the COVID. You just see an example of gravity. So asymmetric is the power that you use the force of the other adversary or the other side in order for you to be able to sustain, to survive. So asymmetric is used recently by a different conflict, but asymmetric is a formula that is giving us the opportunity to rely on our available resources to resist a very aggressive and powerful system. It's not a rebellion. It's not a resilience based on equal force. No, it's a resilience based on using your own methods that they are not following any rule, but following the capabilities of you to bring damage on the other side, or to not be dependent on the impact on the other side. just give an example. We found that a society we rely on rice. And we need this rice to come from a country that is in conflict, or the petrol. So instead of waiting and saying that, oh, we don't get the rice, so we cannot eat, or we don't have petrol, we cannot, you need to provide a structure where you rely on a solar system, or you rely on available resources, you rely on adjusting your system for schools. Instead of bringing the people to class, you bring them online. So you divert the entire structure, and then the economy become dynamic, entrepreneur mindset, and you invest on making sure you don't make rice 90%, you make rice maybe 30%, 40%. So it will not impact immediately for everyone. It will have an impact, but it will be controlled. So this method of asymmetric are defined with the ability of designing our own, using 3D printers to leverage on how this can really be, and having our own ecosystem that can self-heal, then have our own local supply chain. So we don't need to rely on everything outside. We can have our own structure. And this is giving us the ability of having the model I just described about the asymmetric world, but it's more into helping us to have smart capabilities. It will solve the problem of having a shield on the global cyber conflict, infrastructure failure or infrastructure limitations, and the climate disruption. As we know, countries in the southern hemisphere on the equatorial zone, they are always subject to climate. So imagine if those countries are not, an example of Japan or Taiwan, how they build the houses, how they build the building, because they have seismic building of their land. They make a model even if it's coming into a climate disaster, their infrastructure are going to resist, are going to be able to sustain for every change that may happen. Now, all of these are not just theory that we are bringing as technologists or scientists. No, these are models. We call them frameworks. These are models that they have been proven, and we have seen some of those cases are not just globally. I'm talking about a model of 2007, 2008, 2009, and a model that is happened recently. So this avant-garde, we call them the model that will help us to adhere to a certain policy. I will give an example of the case study of Kenya. There is a model, we call it the financial inclusion, which one of the successful model that every country should really think. A financial inclusion is the ability of involving everyone. You involve for those who are having the control. You involve for those who are having a certain needs. You involve for those who can supply in one inclusion. So they create a new business model. So what's happened, M-Pesa, which is led by Safaricom, creating a model to provide access to non-bank customers. Creating a bank account in that region was so limited. It's not very easy for someone with only a Nokia phone or a very limited SMS GSM phone to get access to bank account, because he may not be even an employee of a government or a large corporate. So the model was to solve this problem by providing access to banking services for those unbanked. And this was one of the same period of time. Another similar model called Sarraf Mobile has been launched in Sudan at the same period of time. These are the two reference models that they really create a sustainable model when it comes to the financial inclusion. And Kenya is one of the pioneers that they are within the ecosystem of helping farmers, helping fishermen, artisans, all of those different type of people will really be today considered as they participate on the first ever financial inclusion in the globe. We have a case, as you know, in some certain level, I can say one of the great country in the East Africa called Rwanda is the country of innovation. They have come up with a solution because you know the infrastructure is not that easy. So they create a model called Zipline. This model is the use of drones. So today, people are using drone for media, others are using for military, but this was used to overcome the problem when it comes to supply. So rural area, there is no road, there is no way of providing all the different elements to multiple location medical centers. So by coming up with a fast response, they rely on technology to supply all the different equipment. So they didn't really see or sit and say, oh, we don't have roads, we cannot supply. We don't have very good transportation, so we have to wait. No, they overcome those problems by fixing the infrastructure, not by fixing the infrastructure itself, by rerouting the way of thinking. They come up with a solution. So they leverage high-tech, very cheap drones, but they were able to deliver all the supplies. Now, when it comes to the Nigerian system, or one of the best model that we have seen, they are today one of the top number one countries. Not because they're one of the highest populated country in Africa, but they are having also the very high talented workforce when it comes to advanced human capital. So they build certain solutions, and most of the solutions are not only valued on their use internally, but myself, even I had some of my colleagues, and we have been working with them. They are really very, very creative thinkers. They participate in global economy. I've seen most of them, they get a very high function in international non-government organizations like WHO, like the United Nations. We are seeing them that they participate in the global digital economy. So now, in summary, we will always remember this, because we will be running another session on the community impact. You can really understand today that Kenya is a model, Rwanda is a model, Nigeria is a model. They have come up with a solution that overcome all the problems. They didn't wait, they didn't get to say that, no, we have this, so we cannot. No, they found everything is an opportunity. No justification, no excuses, nothing. And this is exactly where we have to think this way. We have to think today, what is our educational system? How students are learning? How teachers are really receiving knowledge? How everyone participating in research are now waiting? Others are waiting equipment. So these are waiting this mirror, these are waiting this glass, these are waiting. But nobody is able to say, I have this. What can I do with this? And there is one other big problem. Our diaspora manpower professionals are only thinking about the fact that they are able to sell or to protect or to support their families with money. That is the game. No, it's not. It's not. Because it's just for living. It's just for education, for health, for maybe food. But there is no advancement. There is no change. We go back, we find the same thing, same people, same system. So we need to think differently. We need to change. We need to have the mindset of an entrepreneur. We need to start building. We need to start saying no. We need to say, you guys, you don't know, because we are living. Our politicians, our diplomats, all of them They just enter into our countries, back. They forgot what they have seen, what they witnessed a few hours ago. And this is not something we can rely on anyone. We have to think to ourselves. And this is exactly where we want to hear from every one of you. What is your story? What have you really lived? What you have really understood today? What are the things that you feel can really be a learning and it can be an opportunity? And we are here to take all of our discussion to focus on those key challenges. All our events are going to be very short, very small, but they will have an impact. And then I will let you with the different explanation of the same model we were just going through. And then after that, I will wish you a very good and light opportunity of this celebration of Eid. And we will meet up again the next round of Impact Community. Thank you very much. And it is always our pleasure to have you with us every moment.
Master digital skills with AI-driven learning. Prototype quickly and reach global markets.
Bienvenue à Impact Community. Notre mission est de façonner l'avenir en bâtissant des communautés. Nous nous concentrons sur l'éducation, l'entrepreneuriat et l'IA pour un impact durable. Nous vivons une ère de rupture, marquée par l'IA, les cyberconflits, des chaînes d'approvisionnement fragiles et le changement climatique. Les communautés doivent développer leur savoir pour façonner leur avenir et non le subir. Nous passons des communautés traditionnelles, souvent passives, aux communautés d'impact, créatrices de solutions locales. L'IA n'est pas réservée aux géants. C'est un outil puissant pour notre souveraineté locale. Les sociétés résilientes émergent de la convergence de l'éducation, de l'entrepreneuriat et de la technologie. Ces trois piliers permettent aux communautés non seulement de s'adapter, mais de construire leur propre avenir. L'IA transforme l'éducation en la rendant plus rapide, accessible et personnalisée. Des tuteurs intelligents aux outils multilingues, l'IA accélère l'apprentissage et le développement cognitif de tous. Avec l'IA, les barrières tombent. De petites équipes locales peuvent désormais servir des marchés mondiaux. L'entrepreneuriat devient sans frontières, ouvrant des opportunités économiques immenses pour tous. Pour réduire notre dépendance, nous misons sur la production et la réparation locale. Le design numérique et la fabrication distribuée renforcent notre résilience face aux menaces et aux disruptions externes. L'éducation, la technologie et l'entrepreneuriat sont profondément liés. Ensemble, ces piliers créent une société dont la résilience est bien plus grande que la somme de ses parties. Un cercle vertueux continu. Ces concepts ne sont pas théoriques. Partout sur le continent africain, l'innovation locale ne réagit pas seulement aux défis. Elle crée les modèles mondiaux de demain, prouvant notre capacité à innover. Des problèmes locaux aux solutions globales, l'Afrique démontre comment l'ingéniosité et la technologie transforment les défis. L'inclusion financière, la santé et la créativité en sont des exemples concrets. Les Comores ne sont pas isolés. C'est un nœud d'innovation prêt à se connecter. L'entrepreneuriat, l'éducation augmentée par l'IA et la maîtrise technologique y ouvrent des opportunités numériques immenses. L'innovation naît de la collaboration. Étudiants, professeurs, entrepreneurs, technologues et la diaspora professionnelle s'unissent pour former un écosystème inébranlable. C'est en intégrant les savoirs que nous réussirons. Dès demain, chacun peut agir. Étudiants, développer des compétences numériques. Professeurs, utiliser l'IA pour créer. Entrepreneurs, prototyper vite et viser un marché plus vaste. Quel problème dans votre communauté pourrait être résolu grâce à la technologie aujourd'hui? L'avenir appartient aux communautés qui apprennent, construisent et innovent ensemble. Rejoignez notre réseau Impact Community.
This chart tracks the erratic volatility of global systems against the exponential rise of AI. Modern life depends on highly centralized networks, susceptible to cyber conflicts, climate shifts, and supply chain failures. When a single link breaks, the effects cascade, instantly paralyzing distant economies. This table details the traditional position of local communities within that system. Historically, they have functioned as passive users of imported technology, sitting at the end of fragile supply lines and remaining entirely dependent on external producers. In an era characterized by frequent macroeconomic shocks, reacting to disruption after it occurs is a failing survival strategy. The central challenge is a choice between remaining at the mercy of global turbulence or building a systemic shield to block it. Artificial intelligence shifts this power dynamic. Unlike past industrial tools, AI is accessible to individuals and small groups, not just massive centralized corporations. This accessibility provides a pathway to community sovereignty. It allows populations to transition from passive users into active creators of their own local solutions. Technology will inevitably disrupt the future. The only variable is who will use it to build local resilience. This map illustrates interconnected nodes of innovation across Africa, a concept known as the bypass mechanism. African communities are demonstrating that local innovation can jump directly over massive infrastructure deficits. In Rwanda, rural hospitals faced critical shortages because traditional road networks were too slow or non-existent to deliver urgent medical supplies. They bypassed the physical infrastructure problem by deploying autonomous drones. These systems provide instant healthcare delivery, regardless of the condition of the roads below. In Kenya, a similar bypass occurred when millions of citizens lacked access to traditional, centralized banking systems. They bypassed banks with M-Pesa, a mobile payment system, turning basic phones into digital wallets. This hyper-local fix evolved into a definitive global fintech model. Local necessity, paired with accessible technology, builds autonomous systems capable of scaling into global models. Autonomy requires a specific architecture, the resilience flywheel, relying on three interlocking pillars. First, education. EADE acts as an engine for cognitive acceleration, letting students acquire skills rapidly. This drives the second pillar, entrepreneurship. Micro teams of local founders can now serve global markets. In Nigeria, young designers and animators combine local talent with digital tools to export their services worldwide, bypassing the need for heavy local industry. The third pillar is technology. This diagram shows how communities can combine digital design with small-scale manufacturing, like 3D printing and repair networks, to create a bulletproof local ecosystem. Interlocking these three pillars, knowledge, digital exports, and local production, erases a community's reliance on fragile global imports. This is the logic of asymmetric capability. Strategic power is no longer tied strictly to massive physical size or centralized wealth. Smaller, locally controlled technological systems provide a defensive shield. They protect community data and infrastructure from global cyber conflicts and
A remarkable journey to the future begins right here today. Learn to expertly navigate and master the digital world. Develop essential skills that will define tomorrow. Teachers effectively utilize AI technology to transform education. Knowledge transforms into the power we need to innovate. Create innovative products that have a global reach and impact. Innovate and enhance your brand using digital tools effectively. Develop local skills and knowledge to achieve global impact. Scale your vision beyond every border and expand your reach. Resilience through knowledge and strategic autonomy. Join us at Impact Community to shape a brighter future. The exciting movement of builders of the future.
Envision a bright future of innovation and progress. Students master digital technology complexities. And AI empowers and enhances every learning journey. Where entrepreneurs reach global markets effectively. Impact Community, education, technology, and AI. Shaping the future together, right now, every moment.
Master digital skills with AI-driven learning. Prototype quickly and reach global markets. Impact Community. Shifting the future together.